Good afternoon, class. My name is Brian Awas, and I would like to start off my presentation by telling you guys a story of one of my closest friends and his coming out story of telling his mom that he was gay. This all started when him and his mom went to go see his sister at her soccer ball practice, and he pulled her out of the practice and wanted to talk to her about like him being gay because he finally felt comfortable by telling her. And he started off by saying, no matter what I tell you, you'll still love me no matter what. And she said, yeah. And that gave him the extra courage, the extra strength that he needed, the extra comfort that he needed, just for him to tell her that he was gay. And once he told her that, everything changed, everything shifted. She then started to blame herself. She then started to yell at him, hit at him, and tell him that it was her fault, that he ended up like this, that God's not gonna love him no matter what, and that she needs to fix this, and that he needs to go back to liking girls, in which honestly affected him in a bad way because he started to get depression, and right now he's on antidepressant pills because of what his mom did. Later on, his mom would then send him to conversion therapy to talk to a priest about his feelings, and they would make him read Bible verses and will constantly tell him that it's not okay to like a guy and that it's not okay to be different because God didn't make you this way and God didn't want you to like guys. And this really had a negative impact on him up to today, to the point that he just doesn't feel comfortable with telling people stuff because he's scared of their reactions and what they're gonna do. Some of the sources that I will be talking about today, the statistics will be coming from either campaigns, human rights, or community or mental health awarenesses. And I would like to start off by asking you guys, have you guys ever seen someone get bullied just because of their sexual orientation or the sexual identity, and just because they were different? And let me ask you this: how would you guys feel if you guys were being treated differently and you guys were being bullied, and you saw people just looking at you being bullied but they didn't do anything? That's my number one question, because this happens a lot to people in the LGBTQ community, that they just get bullied and nobody does nothing for them. They don't even bother standing up for them. And I hope after this presentation you guys will be able to accept people in the LGBTQ community and will teach other people to accept them and prevent this from ever happening ever again. So today I would like to explain the problem of the world in which most people around the world don't accept LGBTQ community, and the risk and probabilities of them either harming themselves, getting into addictions, or even worse, ending in the streets. And I would like to offer you guys some solutions that can prevent this from ever happening to people in the LGBTQ community. And the first statistics that I would like to start off by is by stating one of them from the True Color United, in which is a group organization that prevents people from the LGBTQ community from being in the streets. And it starts off by saying that only 40% of the youth are part of the LGBTQ community, and they are 40% of the people are homeless. And the reason for that being is because when it comes to someone coming out to their parents or to wherever they're staying, it's because they feel comfortable and they want to stop pretending that there's something when they're not. And when that happens, they either get a good reaction or a negative reaction. According to the statistics, they mostly get a negative reaction because they either get kicked out or they give them an option to be straight because they want them to be straight, because they don't want that kind of behavior in their house. Another statistics that I would like to bring is from the Human Rights Campaign, in which states that 16.7% of hate crimes are from sexual orientation. This comes right after race and religion. The reason for that being is that most hate crimes come from either political views that were influenced into other people, or religion views telling that God didn't want this to happen, so therefore you need to stop. And the way by doing that is to inflict fear or inflict pain. And this happens most of the time because most like Hispanics in the world are Catholic, and they usually kick out their family, or they usually like physically or verbally assault them just because they say that God didn't want us to create man and man liking each other. They created man and woman just because they wanted them to reproduce, and it was God's way, and you have to follow God's way because God wanted you to follow his instructions, because anything besides that is considered wicked and the devil. Another statistics that I would like to bring is from Healthline, in which is mental health awareness, in which collects statistics and surveys. And it starts off by saying that people in the LGBTQ community do have a higher risk from heterosexual people with developing some drug abuse or some high risk of depression. And they also created a statistics saying that people from the LGBTQ community, youth, don't feel safe in high schools or in any school in general because they experience verbal harassment, which has a 74%, in which most schools, most people in the LGBTQ community feel sexual harassment. With that being said, I would like to start addressing some of the solutions that we need to do to prevent this from happening. One step is that we can start to accept other people and ourselves, because this is a big step, because if we can learn to accept other people, how are we going to teach other people to accept as well? The second step, after you're done with that, you need to teach other people to accept other people for who they are. And not only that, we need to prevent other people from bullying. And if you see someone getting bullied just because they're of their LGBTQ community, or just because something's different with them, you just need to stand up for them, because you don't know what's going behind them. You don't know how many times they have to hear this. You don't know how this affects them and what this can lead to. We already showed you the statistics leading to depression and drug abuse. And the biggest solution that we need to start doing is that we need to teach our young ones that it's okay to like guys, it's okay to like girls. You don't need to be heterosexual just because the society makes it normal, or it's because it's a large amount. We don't need to, it's okay to be different. That's what we need to teach our kids, because the way we're gonna stop this is by finding the beginning of the problem and making it an end. Because if we continue to teach our kids that it is wrong, then they're most likely going to teach their kids, and we need to prevent that from happening, because the longer it continues, the more violent, the more scary it's going to be for our future generations to come out, for our future generations to express themselves for who they are. And I would like to give you guys I would like to give you guys a visualization, and I would like you guys to close your eyes and just like imagine a world in which you, the person, just get stares for just holding someone's hand, just people talking behind your back just because you're different, people making fun of you just because you're different. Imagine a world in which you have to live in fear once you come outside the house, because you're scared of being hit, you're scared of dying, you're scared of people just jumping you just because you're different. Imagine in a world where you can't even trust your own mom or dad to tell them what you feel or what's going on in your life. Wouldn't that be hard? And the simplest way we can stop doing this is by not accepting other people in the LGBTQ community. Because if we can accept these people, we can prevent other people from either being drug abuse, drug addiction. We can stop people from being homeless. We can stop people from either committing suicide. We can just stop other people from harming other people just because they're different. And I would like to give you guys a reminder before I go that LGBTQ community people have always been there for you guys. We support either women's rights, we support Black Lives Matter, and we're asking you guys to do is to respect us, and also to support us, because we are a community and we need to support each other, because if we can't support each other, then there's no hope. And thank you guys. I hope you guys have a great day.